I can't hear you.
You're on. Can you hear
Can't
me?
hear you. But I can see you.
Go for it.
Hello, 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 and happy, happy, happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, and the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast deck. Also the founder of Holistic Fitness, a mom and a wife, and want to start off by, for those who are celebrating, wishing everybody a happy Lunar New Year. It is the year of the water rabbit. Yes, which means calm, calmness, 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 and movement, because rabbits do move. When you ever watch a rabbit, they move quickly. They sit, they do what they got to do, but then they start darting. It's very challenging to catch a rabbit when they're in that motion. So this is what this year is all about as we move forward. It's year of movement. So my big question to you is, how are you going to be moving this year? And just in case you're wondering, because I know that with this year, as we are in the year of the rabbit, it is really about prosperity as well. So pay attention to that. Before we dive in, just want to give a shout out to all my amazing, amazing partners that make this show happen from week after week after week. So we're going to do that shout out right now. And that is, we have Joel Monkman, who is our shamanic healing practitioner and wellness advocate. CJ Ives Lopez, she is the host and publisher of the Author's Porch magazine and podcast. Then we have Kitty Foss and Amy Martin, the host of Intuition of the Soul. Then we have Deborah Beatty, which is our badass color mystic, which, by the way, if you didn't catch last week's show live, she was my guest last week. We'll talk about her in a minute. And then we also have Tammy Moses, founder and chief encouragement officer, and also the founder of the Hoarding Solution. Super excited to have all of them as my partners, helping me to make the show run week after week after week. So again, as I was just about to say, if you did not catch last week's show with Deborah on the show, please go ahead and go back and watch later, of course. You can watch on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, of course on YouTube, right here on Strong Island Television, on Facebook, and Twitter for that matter. So, that's a lot to be said, right? As I said, welcome, welcome, welcome. Take this moment right now, if you can, to share out the show, as I'm going to do the same. For those who are here with me, I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment. Let me know what it is about the shows when you do watch that you enjoy. And like it, comment, you know the drill. So I'm just going to invite some folks to come watch who might be around to watch. And then we're going to move on. We're going to move on with this amazing energy that we have going on. As I always like to share insight to what's going on in reference to our energies for today. And there's a lot of energy going on today. And interesting enough, my guest today, which will be on in a little while, she and I are going to be sharing a lot about the energy that's actually taking place based on the title of today's show, The Age of Aquarius. But before we dive into that, let me just talk to you a little bit about this amazing energy that we do have going on. As I mentioned, we are now in the Lunar New Year, which means, from my point of view anyway, that we've already celebrated the traditional American New Year, which was on January 1st. And we now have this new year. And those who will be celebrating their birthdays going forward, you'll have your new year and rebirth at that point as well. Now, when we speak about the Chinese Lunar New Year, some things you might want to do to really capitalize on this energy, and that is grab yourself 9 oranges and place them in a beautiful glass bowl and set them in what I like to call, and the feng shui consultants like to call, set it in your wealth section. Now, if you're not really sure what that section is, and this would be placed in either your kitchen, obviously, your living room, and also dining room, because of course it's fruit. And the wealth section in those areas would be the left far corner of the room where you stand from the doorway. And that would be your wealth section. The number 9 is associated with transformations, endings, new beginnings, and also decluttering. So this energy is a great time to declutter. Declutter things that you no longer use. If you haven't used something in over 6 months to a year, it's time to let it go. Put it in a trash bag and get rid of it. You might want to sell it, donate it, whatever the case is, but it's time to really do the work of letting it go, so you can make space for all the new things that are going to be coming in. Making note that if you are holding on to things and you don't have enough space for things to move in, you're going to block your ability to bring in more abundance. In regards to the oranges are a symbol of prosperity, and the scent of oranges also helps you to lift your mood. Have you ever smelt citrus where you were in a bad mood, and after smelling the citrus, you all of a sudden became in a good mood? There's belief to be said that there's no way of staying in a bad mood when you smell citrus. So that's another beautiful reason to why you'd want to have your 9 oranges in a beautiful glass bowl to display. Also, because it is the year of the water rabbit, this is a perfect opportunity for you to display some rabbits in your home. Interesting fun fact, and then I'm going to go into our card reading, is when we think about this new year, those of you who bring in new animals, whether it's a puppy, a kitten, or even a rabbit for that matter, that's going to enhance your intimate relationships. So if you've been thinking about wanting to get a pet, perfect time to bring one into the home, because it is going to enhance your intimate relationships. So what I like to do now is I like to pull a card and see what's in store for us. Now, usually I do speak about the planets and all that's going on with that energy, but because my guest today, she and I are going to be talking a lot about that, so I'm actually going to hold off on that information until I bring her in. But I do want to give a shout out to those who are watching. I do see that we have Diana here, and then we also have Kimberly. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Feel free to share this out and leave your comments. And let's see what our card for the day is in store for us, what one shocker we need to work on so we can be perfectly aligned with all this amazing energy that's coming in. Our card is Higher Self. And this is so beautiful based on the energy that we are moving into, based on we have, as of today, and one little thing I will share about our planets, as of today at about 5:30-ish p.m. Eastern Time, our final planet, Uranus, the planet of, as I like to call it, midlife crisis, or the awakening planet, is going to be going direct, which means from this day forward until April of 2023, we will have no planets in retrograde, which means momentum, movement, which brings us very clearly into higher self, the ability to being connecting with our higher self, our higher consciousness. That 11 energy is about the work that we're all here to do as master healers. Every one of us are a master healer, and healing the relationships with ourselves and everything else we have to work on. That color, purple, the crown chakra. When we think about the crown chakra, interesting, if you do go back and watch last week's episode, was it last week? Yeah, last week's episode, Deborah spoke about the violet as being the color for 2023 and the higher consciousness. So it's so interesting on how that is showing up today. So that is our card for today. I'll come back and talk a little bit more about that once I come back from commercial break. But for now, I'm going to take a quick commercial break, and then I'll be back here with my guest, and she and I are going to be speaking about the age of Aquarius and what does that actually mean for you and me. I'll be right back.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kitty Foss.
And I'm Amy J.
And we're Intuition of the Soul. We are a Facebook and YouTube group that has created a sacred spiritual place to look at your spiritual practices.
And there's too much to tell you about what we do, but let me tell you, we have weekly activities, we have monthly activities, and you are not going to want to miss our spiritual practitioner series. So join us on Intuition of the Soul.
Aloha ora.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please do me a favor and share, like, and comment on today's show. And you will need to come back and watch later, though. And you can do so by watching on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, YouTube, Twitter. I think I've mentioned them all. But just a quick brief in reference to what showed up in our card for today is all about the higher self, which I truly believe is going to be perfectly aligned with our conversation that my guest and I are going to be having today. Do want to make a note that I shared very little bit about our planets in the introduction, only because there's going to be a lot of talk about that once I do bring my guest in and introduce you to her. She's here with me right now. Let's talk about that number 11. Interesting enough, I didn't share this during the first part of the show. The 11 is associated with Aquarius. Oh my God. The light bulb just went off. Anyway, this is what happens when there's a lot of energy going on. My brain gets a little overwhelmed. So please excuse me if that should happen today. The color is associated with our crown chakra, which is beautifully aligned with our higher consciousness and the energies that are coming in and going forward. So, going to leave you with that. Go back and watch the rest from the earlier part later, because we have a lot to count for today, as I have my amazing, amazing colleague, mentor, friend, teacher. There's so many titles for her, besides her usual titles, which she is the storyteller of astrology. Kitty, I'm so excited to have you here today. How are you? Let's start there.
I am fine. I have literally flown into the seat with my windblown hair. The time, as everybody knows, adjusted a little bit today, and so I was out. I have a friend who's in town. I'm in Florida. Beautiful day, and I went to the beach today because of this. Even though Aquarius is not a water sign, it is the water bearer. It is about the life-giving force. It brings it to all of us. And so we went to the beach, and we thought we'd take a nice drive back and be back in plenty of time, but somebody else had a plan for traveling at like 22 miles an hour down, basically the 2-lane road that you can't. So I was like, well, I might be on the phone, and I literally have flown in the door. So hello,
yes,
everyone.
Yes. Well, it just seems to be that for whatever the reasons are, and we could easily blame it on Mercury because it's still in a shadow period. And for those
we're in the shadow of Mars. We're certainly still with Uranus. Doesn't go direct tonight till 5:59.
Exactly.
So
exactly. And for those who are not aware of the shadow periods of our planet, just means that they haven't energetically allowing us to really fully move forward. So with this Mercury shadow period, it is still messing around with scheduling and time, because that's part of what Mercury does. It's its ideal job is scheduling and time and communication. So here we are. So Kitty, we have so much to talk about regarding all the energies that's going on. Where would you like to start? Besides the fact that we just talked about what Aquarius is, even though it's not a water sign. Most people do think it is. It's not a water sign. So Where do you want to go? Where do you want to start?
It's so typical for Aquarius. I'll just start with talking about Aquarius. It is so typical for Aquarius. It is called the quirky energy. It's an air sign. And it is the energy of what makes us unique, what we celebrate as a get your inner freak on kind of energy. It's the vision of who we want to be. So sometimes that's half a bubble off plum. It's different than the norm. And so this Aquarian energy makes sense that even though it is an air sign, it literally carries another sign. So it's confusing because that's kind of what being unique can be, confusing series of contradictions, all of those things. And so that is a perfect description. Aquarius is our visionary energy. It's what we want to see, how we want to be. And we accomplish that by being those things and embracing our inner revolutionary energy that doesn't want us to be the norm. It wants us to celebrate the uniqueness that connects us all. It's the humanitarian energy. It is, so excuse my dogs. It is the humanitarian energy that creates and connects all of us. And so it's really, it's about our community. And we're coming into this age of Aquarius, which is one reason why we celebrate it. Yesterday was a very, very powerful, and if you haven't set your intentions, you still have time, new moon. But because it was about the bigger vision, the bigger revolutionary energy of what we want to be and see and put together. And of course, it carries the water. It carries the water, which is life-giving, but it's an air sign. We all breathe the same amount of air. You know, when you look at 2020 and COVID and all of that, we became very aware of air, very, very aware that we share airspace. And as human beings, we always start our learning, our changing very 3D. And look what happened. Masks, illness, all of those things. And now we're taking that air energy and expanding that understanding that we are connected that way through our thoughts. How we think, how we approach each other still does connect us. And meanwhile, here's Aquarian bringing you life force, life energy, which is the water. So
I'm just gonna jump here for 1 second regarding that Aquarius carrying the water. When we think of feng shui, water represents our careers. And as long as the water is, especially if you're by an ocean or a river or whatever, not as long as the water is flowing nicely where the waves aren't like all over the place, it means that the career itself is going to flow very nicely. So in reference to that, Kitty, regarding Aquarius and it being associated with our careers, how is this going to really amplify everyone's careers as the age of Aquarius?
Well, the age of Aquarius is about the connection of the humanitarian piece of all of us. It is about the connection that is part of who we are, and that's our work. And so when we talk about careers, remember our JOBs are not always our career. They're not always our work. And so that becomes the space we hold for each other is the work we are talking about. We're talking about 11th house energy, which is friends, blessing, community. Hence why it's 11th house, age of Aquarius energy. So that's what we're kind of taking a look at. And now that we're talking, and interestingly enough, because I was rushing in the car, I didn't get to hear the beginning of did you talk about it being the lunar?
Yes, we spoke about the Lunar New Year, but you can add whatever it is. And if you end up saying what I said, that's great. What was that?
It's the water rabbit year.
Yes, that exactly.
And that's about our intuition, about how we feel emotionally, feel and put things together. It's water. Water is amazingly powerful. Water is one of the most powerful forces there. You know, think of what water does. Even in hurricanes, as much as the wind is powerful, what is always the worry? The water that comes in on the coast. Exactly. We were actually just looking at some of the damage from that last big storm that went through in November. And so that is a piece of when you're talking about what your career, your work is, how am I going to use that powerful water in the water bearer that brings life? Am I going to destroy with it or am I going to build and shape with it? So, exactly. You know, it's kind of a perfect alignment. And of course, today with this Uranus energy going direct, Uranus, the planet of chaos, the planet that rules Aquarius along with Saturn. It's mom and dad. It's the rebellious and the structure. And so Uranus goes direct in the midst of all of this Aquarian energy in the shadow of the new moon, still while the moon is in Aquarius, goes direct 5:59, which means that this chaos that we've been feeling, this awareness that we feel like we're putting the pieces together, is now going to be able to be manifested, come to us, bring us things that we're ready to see. And that's really kind of on us, how we approach that, how
Yes.
we look at that. I was just talking to my friend about, as we're rushing here, I'm like, well, I can just start on the phone. There would have been a day where that would have been crazy and it wouldn't have been optimal, but that is how we look at chaos. It's an awareness. I have the ability to do this. I can celebrate that I actually had another way to get to if I didn't literally arrive in the seat a minute
At
before
the time,
I
exactly,
got,
exactly.
you know.
And I love that Uranus goes direct at 5:59. Of course, I'm a numbers person. So when we talk about that number at 5:59, it adds to a 10, which in numerology, everything gets taken down to a single digit, unless, of course, it's a master number, which it's not. So that 10 energy associated with the Capricorn, but it's that new beginning and the choices and potential that we do have. So we're going to have, all of us are going to experience some new beginnings coming in with all this amazing energy. And we do have choices. We don't have to say yes to everything. And of course, we don't have to say no to everything. So I'm loving that time that it happens to allow us to go direct with that.
Well, I follow a medium I've talked to about Jeanette Biro. And one of the things that she said just recently that this weekend, this Aquarian energy, was she woke up and she hears the word, have a bigger piece of cake. And she was like, what? And she was talking about it. Yes, we do. And we don't have to limit it. It's about enjoying it, whatever this career, whatever this work is, embracing it and doing the best that we can, and not always being perfect at it either. So I love that what the numbers just said. It's not about perfection. It's about the journey to get through it. So
exactly. And as we bounce back just for a minute into the Aquarius energy, want to remind everybody or let you know, when we talk about the Aquarius based on our chakras, it's ruled by the root chakra. So
the vitality of the root chakra.
Yes. And if you feel a little bit overwhelmed by this energy, again, because I have Aquarius in my moon sign, and there's just a lot going on. So when all this energy, when there's a lot of energy going on at the same time, for me anyway, it tends to make me a little overwhelmed. So grounding for me is very important. So for you, it might be the same thing. So be sure to ground your energy every day. And the easiest way of doing that is just to get out into nature, connect with Earth. And in case you're curious regarding the Aquarius energy, it's also associated with our ankles, our calves, and our shins. So pay attention to those body parts as we are in Aquarius energy.
Yes, it's part of our circulatory system. So it is about keeping things moving. I just did recently with a yoga person, my other friend who's also a yoga person, just a welcoming of the energy. And that's what we talked about, was this whole because when you're grounded in those other chakras and you're very stable, you're able to open that vision, open that third eye energy, receive the vision, and be part of the collective vision. And that's the goal of this energy. That is the goal. We have so many things happening. Just today, for example, there is a conjunction with Saturn in Aquarius and Venus in Aquarius. So this is about our energy. This is about our value, our beauty, in the same energy of our structure. So here we got Uranus coming direct, and we're able to really look at the value of the structures we're participating in. And there's also a trine with Mars. So we're able actually to do something about it. So perfect. Get out there today. Get out in a bigger structure, the Earth. Hence why I went to the ocean today. To get out there to see it, celebrate the Lunar New Year. Then we are moving into the shadow period of our Pluto that's popping in on the 24th of March into Aquarian energy. And that's huge energy because Pluto moves very slowly. And it's crossing over two very important degrees, the Anaritic, that's 29 degrees. That's very galactic and cosmic and way out there in our connection in our physical universe. And then we're going over the zero, which is about transforming our karma, resetting our vision, and the angelic energy that's beyond even what we understand in the physical universe. So that energetic piece. So we're starting to feel all this, and we're in this great period of time over the next, I forgot to look when do you know when the next retrograde is?
April 14th
Thank you.
I believe it's the first Mercury retrograde, because I do believe Mercury is what's going to start our retrograde period.
Our retrograde series.
Yeah,
because even though we just came out, that did start last year. Of course, years are only our constraints. You know, they're really ours. This was one of those amazing years where the energy that we see in our 3D world about the change of the calendar actually was very much aligned with the energy of the stars. That isn't always the case. But looking at that until April then 14th, we have all of these planets direct. We're able to really, and when a planet is direct, so in astrology, as just a little note, everything moves counterclockwise. So even the compass rose north is at the bottom. And so when something goes retrograde, it isn't that it really goes backwards, it's just that it slows way down and it loses its relationship a bit with its, and that's why it becomes more of an internal thing versus something coming more of the external. And we have some planets like Mercury that retrograde a bit, and Mercury retrogrades a bit because it's a very important player in our universe. It's what is often informing things and wants us to slow down enough and listen. And it kind of slows down so we can listen. And so we have this period of time that's very creative in the world, very including we have Venus going into Pisces, where she's very happy. Don't you have a Venus in Pisces?
I sure do.
It's called,
she's excited about it.
She's exalted, which means she's very happy, very able to work, very into going with the flow, because that's Pisces. And then we have that dip by Pluto in March before retrograde season starts, where all of this energy is coming direct. And this Pluto shadow we're entering into is also about the transformation of the vision on a much bigger level. That's why it feels so much bigger, because it is.
Yes, yeah. And Kitty, if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit, because I keep hearing we need to talk about Saturn, because Saturn is still currently in Aquarius. So what is that going to do, you know, with the fact that the sun's in Aquarius, and I know for right now the moon is still there. So what is Saturn going to help us with?
Well, so we're going to jump back for a minute. So we had a big conjunction in 2020 at the end of the year. I don't have as many memories of it because I happened to have COVID at that point, which was meant to be at that point. And so it kind of pointed to this time. That was part of this alignment. And Saturn has been in Aquarius. It will be moving again this year into Aries. And when Saturn moves into Aries, we're going to see some other. So while it's the vision of what our structures are. Saturn, again, is a ruler of Aquarius. So we have
correction. Saturn's going to be moving into Pisces.
I'm sorry, Pisces. You're right.
Yes,
That's right.
Sorry about that.
I let it skip a whole sign.
Yeah, you want to skip over Pisces. We wanted to go into Pisces. You. It's important. It's important for it to go to Pisces.
It's very important for it to go because once it's gotten this vision, and I was about to say it's going to talk about the flow, but I called it Aries anyway. Hey, I'm still riding in the car.
It's all good. Like I said, there's a lot of energy going on right now. So I'm happy to know that I am not the only one that gets a little overwhelmed and all this information being downloaded, that it's like we want to talk about everything. And it's like, oh my God, slow it down, please.
Right.
Go ahead, Kitty.
So, but anyway, this Saturn in Aquarius has been really looking at this Aquarian. So it's very happy here. It's like picking up its home blueprint, and it's helping without Uranus help at the moment because it's in Taurus. is helping focus whatever we want those structures to be, the vision of where life in that water needs to go, where it, from our rabbit energy, where we need to be paying attention to our intuition, the quietness that, and Saturn likes quiet because it likes to be in control. And so it's about our structures, it's about our bigger picture. And so as it is talking to the sun and getting even more information, along with Venus, which is informing its beauty, its relationship, how that can look, we have this, I'm having this amazing conversation with Venus getting ready to go where she's exalted so she can bring a bigger picture forward in the information. And then Mercury taps into Aquarius, where it'll give it a chance to really talk and be together. And so it's really important that we look at the Saturn that continually takes the vision and figures out kind of a format for it. And before it jumps into Pisces, where it's going to take that format and ask us to flow with it. And so Saturn has been very busy in the last couple of years when Saturn is in Capricorn, because Capricorn rules, but also Saturn rules the Aquarian. So it's like its home advantage is basically what it is. It's been in its own advantage. And it watched that 2020. That's what that was about. Expanding and taking apart. It destructs to reconstruct. That's its energy. And so that's what's going on right now. And today, there's a big conjunction in what we value. With our Mars that just came direct, we'd spent a lot of months getting ready to look at our beliefs and getting rid of the beliefs that no longer serve us, that aren't ours to take, that we needed to, what are we really ready to fight about? What is it we can, personally let go of? That's going to be true for all of us. And we've talked a lot about this, Joanne. If we can hold the space, because not everybody's going to see this, not everybody's going to have the awareness. If you're watching this, you already have a call for this awareness. Not everybody's going to have it. And so it's going to feel much more chaotic, much more top down is not going to go gently. Nobody's going to go, here, let me give up what I perceive to be my power, to hold hands and sing Age of Aquarius. That's not necessarily how it's made look.
Kumbaya.
It's not, Donomy and understanding, sympathy and trust abound here. That really is the Age of Aquarius, but that doesn't mean people are going to not scoff at it, not try to hold on to their position. And we've had this when Pluto is in Capricorn moving into Aquarius before. We had the Crusades, we had the Revolutionary War, but that Aquarian energy does step forward. That's part of the deconstruction in order to reconstruct. And so you holding the space, that vision, that's why it's important you're looking at your own vision of what you need for your own life, so that you're as strong and stable, that root chakra, as you can be to hold that vision in that collective picture. It's yes. The energy of it takes a village. It takes a village. So
yeah. And too, this is where we get a chance to do this together, holding space for one another, working together, coming together, collaborating. These are perfect opportunities to connect with your people. That's going to help lift you up, help you spiritually grow, evolve, and cheer you on as well. So this is not about the collective I as it is about the collective we. The individual I is really what it's about, like what each and every one of us can do individually so we can expand, so we can actually make space for everybody so they can grow during this Aquarius, the Age of Aquarius.
This is all the verbs of being. Am, is, are, was, were, be, been. It's all of those. The I am is part of the we are and have been. So this is, this is where the teacher geek comes out of me. Verbs of being. To be alive is a verb. It is an action. And in our language, that's what they're called, verbs of being. Aquarius is the celebration of the verbs of being. Past, present, future, and the vision of what that means. So
yes. Yes. And just curiosity before we take a commercial break. When we speak about our zodiac signs, now obviously Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising will really feel this energy more so. But I know there's other planets that will also feel this energy. What would those planets be? And also houses for that matter.
Any planet could feel it. Any planet that's in the Aquarian energy that you have. Also things like Chiron. I happen to have Chiron, which is it's actually an asteroid, but it's your wounded healer. So in all of this Aquarian energy, I'm dealing with that perpetual wound I have. Mine happens to be in the second house, which is the house of values. And because of the Venus what's going on right now with Venus, you may be feeling it a little bit stronger, especially if you have an Aquarian Venus. Anything you have in that 11th house is being lit up as well, because that is the house of Aquarius. And
Yes.
as a fast, or maybe we'll do that when you come back from the commercial break. We'll do a little fast thing of what all of that means. So those are things where your Saturn and Uranus placements are lit up because they're rulers of this Aquarian energy. So there could be any kind of combination that you have. A North Node, that's your soul's calling. You may be feeling like, I got to do something. Guess what? Great time in the next couple of weeks to do something, to actually do it.
Yes.
In the very physical 3D of what you want to create, 3D and up. So
exactly. Yeah. So as I always say, learn your astrology, learn where everything is, because in this way here, it helps you to better understand why you might actually be feeling what you're feeling. So just as Kitty said, any place on your chart that you have Aquarius, any place where Venus or Uranus is, or Mars or Pluto or Saturn, should we go on? Any place, your houses where you have 11th house energy, that's what you want to focus on, because that's going to give you some key information to where the movement's coming from. And of course, if you still are unclear and you need a little support, Kitty, let them know how they can reach you.
Well, see, my name is complete at the bottom, Kitty Buttigieg Foss. You can message me on Facebook under that, or at Intuition of the Soul, which is also a private Facebook group on Facebook itself, and send a message. I do have an email that is intuitionofthesoul11@gmail.com. And you can also send me an inquiry there, and we can talk about what it is you might need to see in your chart. And if you really want to learn about this, we have a course that's coming up very soon where we'll take your chart and teach you these basics and teach you about, because we'll go over that when we come back from commercial, about what all of those things mean. So
yes. So when we do come back, obviously we're going to be sharing a little bit more about astrology, the age of Aquarius, the tips that Kitty's going to continue sharing. And as long as Kitty is open to it, I will pull a card for her to see how this energy can work for her as well. So all that when we come back. Did you have a question before?
No, I was going to tell you, because my sun is in the 11th house. My Scorpion sun is in the house of Aquarius.
Oh, so quite interesting. Interesting. So we're going to take that quick commercial break so everybody can go get themselves some water. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for solutions and connections? If so, I can help. Hi, I'm Tammy Moses, and I help the peripheral people resolve hoarding issues in a holistic way. I would love to connect with you and learn more about how I can help in your unique situation. Please send me an email to thehoardingsolution@gmail.com. I look forward to connecting with you.
Hey, this is Joe Monkman, and I am a personal development trainer. And that means that I help people step into their leadership roles, take their place as a visionary, really understand their own mastery in the world so that they can really find their place at the buffet of life. And if you want to know more, you can find me on my Facebook page at Joe Monkman and joemonkman@gmail.com.
Hi, I'm CJ. The Author's Porch is a community where you find good books and good people. We collaborate with services that deliver quality to authors and publish a magazine for authors by authors. Come by, let us feature you or review your book. coffee is always on. And no matter what time you arrive or where you come from, the porch light is always on.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Colon. And I have my amazing guest, Kitty, here with us, who's our storyteller of astrology. We are chatting, or should I say, she's chatting about the age of Aquarius. We are sharing everything about Aquarius, what's going on in the energies right now. There is a lot of momentum going on with our planets, helping us to get into momentum, to moving forward, because let's face the reality of things. The last 3 years, many of us, if not all of us, have been in solitude and been asked to sit quietly. And now, I actually said this earlier with a colleague of mine, it's like a bunch of us as kindergartens being told, go outside and play in the playground. We don't know how to act. And that's what's going to take place going forward. So if you are just tuning in, remember to share, like, and comment. And come back later and watch it from the beginning. You can do so by watching it on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, where else? YouTube, and I think I said Twitter already. Anywho's, here we are. Kitty, let's dive right back in regards to what it is you were saying before regarding all of this energy and how this all reflects.
Whew. So you're so right. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about the speed you're talking about. This has been an amazingly fast-paced energy month. And we've had periods of this, but this is like pedal to the metal, we're moving forward. The good news is that as February comes, part of the goal with that 2 energy of balance and partnership is also a 3 energy, starting the very first day to synthesize this energy. And so that really is about, we will catch up. As long as we ground, let the vision in, our bodies will begin to process this more. And you will see more people struggling because they're not taking the time to process it. So if you're watching this, you're already on your way. So
and I love that you just mentioned February, not to dive in and cut you off. But Bobby's going to like to hear this. When we talk about February's energy, when we add that 2 and the 7 from the collective, it works out to be a 9. So again, we're back to that transformation, declutter, continuing to declutter. So the entire month of February is going to help us to let go so we can make more space for all the amazing things that are about to come in. Go ahead, Kitty.
Yeah, I think it's a big month of there's a lot of 12s around too, which are 3s, and that's synthesize. How do I take this energy? How do I synthesize this energy? How do I move through with it? Make it, it's the triangle, very strong, geometric figure. So I was going to do just a little bit of basics of when we talk about all this astrology. Everyone's astrology, it's a circuit. And what your chart is the relay station of the circuit. So at the bottom of that circuit is the same for everyone. There's Aries in the first house where Mars is. There's the second house, Venus, Taurus, third house, Gemini. So that's part of what is being relayed. Your astrological chart is the relay station that's laid on top of it. And depending, like Joanne has a Venus in Pisces. What house, do you know?
I believe it's 9th. Let me double check because we're on this 9 kick.
Yes, we're on this.
Let me just double check. What is it in? Yes, 9th house.
So
Can we hear the number 9 again?
So we're hearing another 9, and since it's exalted, this should be a really powerful month, especially for you. And so her 9th house is relaying with all of this Aquarian energy of that bottom house, the 11th house, which is friends and blessings. So she's got some higher learning with friends and blessings that are being lit up. Meanwhile, back at the range, there's another level that is what's sending that message to the relay system. Light up where Aquarius is in the circuit. Light up where Saturn is in the circuit because of the Aquarian energy it works with. Depending if it's your rising sign, light up the rising sign with the Aquarian energy. So that's why when we talk about knowing your placement, it's to know what your relay system is, knowing what might be where the conversation is. Planets are what the energy is. Mercury is communication. Pluto is transformation. The moon is your private side. There are also points and asteroids, which are all what the energy is. The element it's in, or the sign, because all elements have a sign, is how is that expressed? Is it expressed energetically? Is it expressed more physically? Is it expressed more about how I think? Aquarius is about how you think. So it's going to be a lot about how I think and I approach. But like for me, that second house energy of Aquarius is my wound. So it's about me thinking about when my wound steps forward. And uh, for Joanne, she has a different house with Aquarius that gets lit up and relays information. And then the house it takes place on is where the conversation takes place, the area it takes place in. So if we're talking about the ninth house, it's the house of higher learning and truths. So for her, if her Venus is being lit up by this Aquarius energy, which it would be, it's happening on new truths for her, new learnings for her, new understandings. For me, my Venus is in the 12th house. My conversation is taking place on what I uncover, what secrets come to me, what I come to understand. So that's why when we talk about houses, planets, and signs, it's a relay. It's an electrical current circuit mechanism of energy. So that's why.
There you go. Take a breath. Take a breath, because that is a lot. And this is information that, again, you could definitely learn by connecting with Kitty, which we'll share that information again in a little while, in regards to the course that she does teach, the class that she teaches. But like I said, we'll talk about that in a bit. What I would like to do, Kitty, if you can share one tip with everybody for them to be, what's the word I want to hear? What's the word I'm hearing? Calmer. Because again, yes, this is calmer energy, but it's overwhelming energy because there's just so much running through our system right now. What would that one tip be for them?
Well, because we're talking about root chakra, is to make sure karmically you've grounded yourself and take some time to really look at what do you want to see, what do you want to be and participate, and then see when you're activated, the Cherokee legend of what wolf am I going to feed? This is a time to hold the vision of what you want to see and not necessarily kind of stay in your own lane about it too. I'm not here to fix Joanne. If I want to be the I am in the we are in the verbs of being, I'm going to be concentrating on my being. It's not somebody who does something to me. It's me reacting to the stimulus I get. And once I own it, I have power to do it. So I guess that would be my hint. Don't give your power away. Let it be about you in the collective. Yeah.
Exactly. And as Kitty said, and as I said earlier about Aquarius being ruled by the root chakra, other ways that you can also ground energy is wearing the color red, because it's actually associated with the root chakra, and getting out into nature to ground, to stay grounded, especially when you're feeling like you've just received all this download and it's like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do with all of this? Or you often find yourself wanting to share a lot of information and just spitting it out and not coming up for air. Considering Aquarius is an air sign, come up for air. You
air is what connects us.
Exactly.
So again, be careful of who you're sharing your air and your space with. I think that's perfect. Wear red when you wake up. Do something a little different. Move all your wrists, your joints. You come out of a dream state, a different physical wave state. Ground your body so that you can carry whatever that vision is and move through the air with more precision. So
yes. And circulation, which means moving your body, as Kitty just said, move. Get out of the habit of just sitting. Get in the habit of moving more, and just being consciously aware of your movement as well. So Kitty, with that being said, are you open to a reading?
Oh, I would love one. Thank you.
All right. What I would like you to do is just hold a thought in your mind, a question in regards to what you would like some guidance on. And while you're doing that, just to say your name for me that you go by out loud, Kitty. 3 times.
Okay. Kitty Buttigieg Foss. Kitty Buttigieg Foss. Kitty Buttigieg Foss.
Excellent. And this card that's going to show is going to be for Kitty's highest good. And I am surrounding both of us by this beautiful, beautiful violet light. So we are both protected. And here's the card. Interesting card. Rebirth. Rebirth. That's exactly what Kitty is going through. We're all going through as we're in this lunar new year. It is a rebirth. And I'm loving the number 21. So perfectly aligned with this Mercury's energy and just that 3 of communication. How are you going to rebirth the way you communicate with others? The chakra is the high heart, which is about compassion and joy. And you and I have a mutual friend who uses that word a lot, of joy. And I like to add the word enjoy. Enjoy everything that you're going to be participating in going forward in regards to your workspace, your friendships, everything that you do. This is your time for a rebirth. Do you feel that rebirth energy for you?
Yes, especially with the question that I asked. And of course, it's a 3. And we were just talking about that synthesis of February. It's a 3. And it's high heart, which is the connection to the soul for me, is the high heart.
Yes. Excellent. I love that.
But boy, so obviously, am I warm all of a sudden. Like,
yeah, well, you are in Florida. I'm assuming it's warm there.
It was 80 today, but no, this is that kind of
energy. Yes.
What's it called? Confirming warmth, that something is being said to you is being released, boiled up, and circulated.
Yes, that's a good word. Yes. Yeah, and remembering that 2 and 1, the 2 is the partnerships that you do have, your collaborations. The 1 is your reminder that you are a leader and you are here to take the lead, leading into your 3, which is the collaborations, the creativity, the way you're going to be speaking, what it is you're sharing, what it is you're teaching, what it is you're learning. Because as teachers, we also still are students. And that's a big reminder that, yes, as you go through this rebirth, rejuvenating, and stepping into this new way of doing what you're going to be doing.
You know, I have a kind of a funny story to share with you. So I do daily reels, you know this, just with the day's energy. And someone wrote on yesterday's, we're in the 21st century. Why are people still paying attention to all of this? And in this rebirth energy, this synthesis, there was the initial activation to say, why do people make comments that if they don't like something or whatever? But instead I said, no, the energy I want to vision, I want to hold is blessings. Thank you for your opinion. On we move, you know. So, and that is that rebirth. How am I going to do this differently? How am I going to hold the space I want held for me, for other people? It would make no difference to me that he said it or didn't say it. So let me just send you a blessing instead. So
exactly. And when we think about it, yes, because we are in the 21st century and this is coming back up, it's coming back up because we need to relearn it again. You know, which is why it's coming back up. Many of us need to relearn it, and
it's a tool.
Exactly.
It's a tool. If it's not a tool that resonates with you, just like if you don't like a certain kind of brand of hammer, don't use it.
Exactly. So. I myself believe that, you know, astrology and numerology are really our GPS. And if we do learn to use it, it makes things a little easier. It doesn't stop. I hear this from people all the time. It's not about that it stops the challenges and the dark side. It only helps us to better understand how to deal with them in a better way because we have tools to work with. So Kitty, I want to start off finish by saying thank you so much for being here, sharing your knowledge, wisdom with all of us. And when Kitty and I get together, it's more like play because we are like 2 little kids in the playground, playing and just sharing insight with each other. So Kitty, thank you so much for being here with us. Please
we get a bigger piece of cake when we're together.
Yes, we sure do. And we love that. Yes we
do.
Let everyone know how they can reach you again.
You can reach me. My name's right there on Messenger and Facebook. Also, Intuition of the Soul on Facebook. It's a private Facebook group, but you can message there. And my email is intuitionofthesoul11@gmail.com.
Excellent. I love this. So again, guys, Please go ahead, share, like, and comment on today's show. We'd love to hear. I will definitely come back and read the comments. I can actually see them, but I cannot multitask today. There's no way I can comment back and be focused here. That's just not me. I wish I was able to do that, but that's just not me. So forgive me if I'm not commenting, but I do see the comments, and I will definitely come back later to respond to every one of the comments. And if there are any comments there for Kitty, I will definitely send those comments to her so she too can respond to the comments. All that being said, there's going to be another commercial break, and I'll be back with the conclusion of today's show. We will be back here. Oh my God, when will we be back here? We will be back on February 5th. So we won't be here next week. And I will share the guests for February 5th as we get closer. But to now, I'll be back with the conclusion of today's show. Again, Kitty, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kitty Foss.
And I'm Amy J.
And we're Intuition of the Soul. We are a Facebook and YouTube group that has created a sacred spiritual place to look at your spiritual practices.
And there's too much to tell you about what we do, but let me tell you, we have weekly activities, we have monthly activities, and you are not going to want to miss our spiritual practitioner series. So join us on Intuition of the Soul.
Aloha.
Ladies over 40, do you enjoy CrossFit, HIIT, interval training, Orange Theory, Zumba, or even yoga? I would like to help you incorporate 3 strength training workouts into that regimen. Yes, good old-fashioned strength training. I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast deck, and the founder of Holistic Fitness, located right here in New York, Queens. To learn how you can redeem your self-growth discovery session, email healingwithin76@gmail.com and get started on that new 3-day strength training regimen in addition to what you enjoy. That email again is healingwithin76@gmail.com. Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, and you are tuning in at the very last portion of today's show, but that's okay because you can come back and watch the whole show again on any of the following platforms: Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, Twitter, and YouTube. But stick around because I want to give you the conclusion of today's show. It was an amazing show. We had my amazing guest, Kitty Foss, on, where she shared about the age of Aquarius and what's in store for every one of us going forward. A lot of momentum as we go forward, where with all our planets, after 5:30 today, we will have no planets in retrograde, which is a great thing. Next time we have a planet in retrograde, not till April. So use this time for your most productive processes as you go along. So with all that being said, many of my partners have a lot of things going on and would love for you to join them. So to start off with, and there's a flyer for each, we're going to speak about spirit messages and energy insight. Then we also have the Author's Porch magazine and podcast. The Badass Color Mystic. I went a little out of order there, so excuse the confusion. And then we also have Intuition of the Soul, which, by the way, Kitty is the host of. And then we also have Your Body is a Reflection of Your Life by yours truly. And for those of you who are interested in shining your light in 2023, I am currently looking for guest partners for the show. All you need to do is email healingwithin76@gmail.com. We'll have a conversation and get you on the calendar. Well, it's been an amazing, amazing show today. I will be back on in 2 weeks. So the first Sunday in February, I'll be back. Until then, enjoy this amazing energy. Remember, we are in Lunar New Year. Wear your red, ground your energy, get those oranges, 9 oranges in a beautiful glass bowl to bring in the abundance, luck, and prosperity. Ground your energy. Collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. Until next time, bye-bye for now.